What's up, everybody? It's Billy, and I'm back, and I have time to answer your questions. So, I am here. Anybody who wants to know, just as a reminder, this place is for you. It's about being able to talk about making more money, having more control over your free time, and living with less stress. A number of you have been asking me as well about how I'm living in Europe and investing in multifamily real estate here in the United States. And once again, I have laid that out for you in a really nice ebook. You can pick that up if you'd like. You just have to go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap, and you can pick that up. So that will be very cool for you. And today I have about 14 minutes, and I'm here to answer your questions. So don't be shy. You can ask me whatever you want. You can ask me about sales. You can ask me about real estate. You can ask me about managing teams, leadership, any of the things that will help you to be able to make more money, to help have more control over your free time and live with less stress. But most importantly, I'm here to answer your questions. So, yeah, pretty much here. And that is the idea today, is to answer your questions over the next 14 minutes or so. I'll probably go a little bit longer depending on how many questions I have, what types of questions I have, because I want to, well, let's just say I want to have even more mat time, as people would say it, those people who are wrestlers. I'm not a wrestler. I would say more track time. So running laps around the track, and I want to be here to answer your questions. So I actually have another screen here as well. And so if you are here, for whatever reason, I don't always see who's here. So if you could just let me know, hello, who you are and where you're from. And yes, I was supposed to be 78 minutes, and then it was going to be 9 minutes for one of you that asked me, and 7 minutes for another one of you that asked me, and 2 minutes for another person who asked me. So between 9, 7, and 2, now I'm here. And I'm going to stick around. I think it was for 14 minutes. I've used a couple of those, so I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have for me. Long distance investing is, I guess, the reason that I sort of started this channel. But once again, the idea was to be able to have a place where we can all share with one another. We can share stories, ideas, challenges around being able to make more money, live with less stress, and have more control over your free time. Kind of in one of those three orders. And yeah, so hey Cheryl, what's going on? Really cool to see you. But yeah, so that's the idea, is to answer your questions. So don't be shy. Cheryl, I know you're not shy. You're also a multifamily investor. You live in Canada, and you absolutely rock, because you are just awesome. You're super active in that kind of stuff, and that's really cool. What question would you have for me, actually, Cheryl, since you're here? And I know we both enjoy multifamily investing, and we're doing a lot of different things, different countries, and we both like social media, so that's kind of cool. But I want to be able to answer your questions. And sorry that I keep looking to the side, because sometimes the comments don't show up on my iPhone, and sometimes they show up really, really late. And so I have this idea to put my laptop near me, because once again, I'm here to answer your questions. Today, I didn't come with anything other than a little bit of extra time before I head up towards New York City. Yes, I'm going to be doing that, hanging out, because my little sister lives near there, and so I'm going to go hang out with her, which is nice. So very quick trip to the United States. This was pretty much all pleasure, family related, some real estate stuff that we were doing yesterday, which was actually cool. I should have probably videotaped that. That would have been interesting. But the rest of it, I have a meeting with the property management company who's based in Philadelphia on Monday or Tuesday, I'm not really sure. Sometime before I head back. But anyway, I am going to check this. Sorry that I keep turning my head and turning my face. I'm still not really good at this stuff yet, because, well, I'm trying to multi-screen, if you will. And as I multi-screen, I'm losing some of you. Let's see. So it looks like we have a question, which is very cool. Thank you, Cheryl. Have I ever invested in the Caribbean? What about hurricane season? So have I ever invested in the Caribbean? The short answer to that question is no. And what about hurricane season? I guess you're probably meaning, how would I consider that in terms of an investment or an investment strategy? Are you thinking of what could happen because of property damage, Cheryl? And how maybe I would address that? I just want to make sure that I'm answering the question and not just being too short. Just on the second part, help me that I understand the question. Are you more concerned or you want to understand how I take into consideration insurance, or take into consideration that as as one of the risks that need to be mitigated, right? Because you could also look at that, Cheryl. Same for, exactly. So you're reading my mind. So what I was going to say is it's very similar, right? Because you may have, if you're thinking about the Caribbean, you're thinking about hurricanes, or you're thinking about the East Coast or the Gulf of Mexico. I used to live in Houston, Texas for many, many years. And so you would have that risk, right? That's always inherent. I recently was asked to be a part of, I think it was like 380 unit opportunity, but it was in Florida. And so a lot of this goes back to, Cheryl, and I know that's one of the things, and you were really cool the other day. You can probably type that into the box today. Like, this is part of the making sure that you have everything that you want as an investor, that you're in line, right? Because when things are in sync, it helps you to, well, sleep well at night. And at the end of the day, that's what I want to be able to do as an investor. So, and I wrote a lot about that in the ebook, which is, anyone can pick that up for free at keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Because part of the idea with that is, are you okay with that as a risk, like hurricane season? Or if you're somebody who invests in California, you wouldn't think about hurricanes, but you would think about, what do you call it? I'm thinking of it in Spanish. Terremoto is like earthquakes. Thank you. That's what I was thinking. So, yes. And so that's just one of the things, I guess, more than anything else, Cheryl, it's not, you just need to take that into consideration when you're looking at your operating expenses, right? Because you need to understand that your insurance and the way that you want to go about covering that risk is just something that you need to take into consideration. Whether you're investing in the Caribbean, or you're someone who may want to invest in the center of the United States where the tornadoes are really high, or someone who invests in the Gulf, like in Houston. It's just another factor when you are considering the location that you want to invest in, right? And making sure that that location is also in line with your own personal goals and objectives. So if those two things are happening, well, yeah, I mean, if you know that you want to go out and invest for cash flow like me, you're going to look for the locations that are more, that are going to provide you with the opportunities to earn cash flow. And if that's in Florida, well, as you're doing that, when you look at how you are going to invest, you need to take into consideration that one of the risk factors in choosing your location is weather, right? And so you want to make sure that you are covered, whether it's high winds, if you're in the central part of the United States, and like Nebraska or Oklahoma, something like that, or if you're on the west coast of the U.S., you would want to take into consideration things like earthquakes. And to your point, Cheryl, if you are on the east coast of the United States or the Gulf of Mexico or Florida or the Caribbean, you're going to think about hurricanes and how do you mitigate that risk, because it's more likely that's going to happen, right? And if that is in line with where you want to invest, and that's going to provide you ultimately what it is that you want, which is cash flow or capital gains, like earning big stacks of cash, then, consider doing that. Just remember that you will need to have in part of your plan that you're going to probably need some insurance to make sure that you cover that in the event or unlikely event that a hurricane comes through. So hopefully that makes sense. No, I've never invested personally in the Caribbean. And when you are thinking about things like hurricane, or just call it weather, make sure that when you look at your location that you have contingencies or you have a plan to be able to mitigate or minimize any kind of risk that could happen to you. So hopefully that answers your question, Cheryl. If you could just let me know. And what about leased land? Love this. Cheryl, you are on fire. Awesome. What about leased land? I guess you save up front, but would build big knowing you have to walk away from it. You know, Cheryl, I think we were talking about this not too long ago because I was asking a question and you'd mentioned, I think you were talking about Mexico. Were you talking about Mexico not too long ago, Cheryl? I believe so, if memory serves me correctly. And you were saying investing overseas, but there was something about the land and you were only able to lease the land for a certain amount of time. Is that tie back into what this question is about? Just remind me if my memory is serving me correctly, because I don't. Okay, cool. I thought so, but I was like, I couldn't remember for sure. Yes, but as it relates to leased land, what about leased land? I guess you save up front, but would you build big knowing you have to walk away from it? I guess it goes back to, it's the same in a very similar way. For me, so if you're asking me, that leased land portion, it may work if for the amount of time that I can lease the land, I'm able to create the amount of cash flow that meets my goals or meets my investor goals. That may be something that I would do because it fits in with what my goals are, right? But I would need to know how long, right? So this is more about the risk of how long can you lease the land, Cheryl? If you can lease the land for 2 years, does that really give you enough time to either create capital gains, which is a big stack of cash, or does it give you the time to create like what I call boring base hits, which is cash flow? If the answer to that question is yes, then I would go to the next thing and say, okay, well, how do I actually make that happen? And as long as I can lease the land, create my cash flow, because that's what I would want to do, then I would consider that. If I would see that because either the time of the leased land was too short or it didn't give me the opportunity to actually create or get to my objective or the result that I'm looking for, then I would probably just walk away, right? But the whole thing is with that question, Cheryl, is you need to be really clear on what your goal is and why you want to get to that goal. Meaning, if you want to create cash flow, know that. Is the location where you're going to create cash flow because it's leased land versus owned land? Well, I guess it's just kind of the tool to get you to your ultimate result, which is creating cash flow or creating a big pile of cash. And then after that, you need to go into your operational plan, which is, all right, how do I actually create the objective or create the result that you're looking for, whether the land is leased or owned? Does that make sense? Because I guess that's part of the planning, right? It's just, you know that you're going to walk away from a piece of land. If it's leased for 20 years, well, you know you have a 20-year plan. It's just like buying, right now we're planning on buying it's like a 260 unit building. And the goal is to keep that and hold it forever. At the same time, we know that probably in about a 7-year window, if not before, we would look to refinance and pull our money out. So it's more about the amount of time and can you execute your plan in the amount of time, whether it's leased or not. Great question. I love that. Does that make sense, Cheryl? Hopefully that does. So I don't know if anyone else has questions either. I know I'm going over a little bit of time, but I am enjoying this. This is really cool. Hopefully you are enjoying this and you're finding value from it. Very cool. So, and you know what, Cheryl, a lot of what you're talking about, like some of these questions, you can find them because this was really about the process that you're going through. and the ebook. And like I said, I know you wrote it the other day. If you have a chance, if you could write it in, because I can't actually type it in here. But if anybody wants to kind of understand more about what that process looks like, you can go and pick up the ebook. It's absolutely free. And you can do that by going to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. And anyone who's interested, you can read it. It's like 10 or 11 pages. But it's a really quick read. I've made the letters really big because my eyesight's not so, it's getting worse actually. And so I have a sensitivity to that. And so we made the letters a little bit bigger so it'll be easier for people to read. And if anyone wants to go in a deeper dive, I give you that option. So don't be surprised. Afterwards is a chance for people to go through, which is great. So I'm actually just reading. Okay, so, hey, actually, Cheryl, you know what? With that, it's 99. Okay, wait, there you go. Now I'm seeing, sorry about that. This is all kind of new to me, so I'm looking through and reading your comments. So, okay, in Mexico, it's 99 years, right? So, I mean, that's part of your plan. Like, if you can do it in 99 years, then, yeah, it's leased land for 99 years. I hope you live another 99 years, but you know, it's 99 years. So have your plan and be able to execute your plan. It's more important, I think, that given that you have a 99-year horizon, I mean, that's, yeah. And that you understand the location, right? What are the rules and regulations? How do you actually get to the goal? To that end, do you think you can sell a business to another even on leased land? I wonder. Do you think you can sell a business to another even on leased land? In 99 years, I don't know. However, this is where it's really important, especially when you're in a location that's outside of the place that you live. If you're in another country, this is where teamwork comes into play. This is like critical. This is a critical part of that, right? Your team needs to be able to understand how you can, you know, what you can do. And that can be your legal team, that can be your local team that's either helping you to broker deals, meaning the salesperson. It can be the person that helps you put the deal together, like from a property management perspective. But yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility. And maybe you don't technically sell it. Maybe you provide the rights to use the land. I don't know, but I don't know why that would not be a possibility. But that's where I would say your team comes into play here. This is a really critical part, and it's also part of the path that we were talking about before. So hopefully that makes sense. Love these questions. More importantly, I hope you're finding this useful, because I'm enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. Great info and feedback. Oh, cool. Thank you, Cheryl. That's very kind of you. Very, very nice. So yeah, I guess Cheryl's actually asking a lot of questions. So we've kind of touched on a couple of different things with the questions, and it sounds like, at least sharing the experience, it's helpful. I guess the key is always, Cheryl, with this. Oh, thank you very much. That's so nice of you. Like little thumbs up. Cool. Makes me smile. Is being able to use what we're talking about, right? So we're both taking time, but you know, actually now is the next step. Okay, cool. Leased land. If you have a 99-year horizon, what does that mean? Like, what's your goal, right? Is your goal to create another? I don't know. Because I have no idea. Are you looking to create your first 1,000? Are you looking to create your first monthly income? Are you looking to create another 30,000 of monthly income? Is Mexico going to be the place to do that for you? And because I'm thinking, well, if you can get your plan to go, do you have a point where you can, like on currency exchange? Like that's another thing that comes to mind. You know, Cheryl, are you looking to create, like I said, 30 or 40,000 a month? And with the currency exchange, because you can actually use Canadian dollars to get more pesos. And then when you bring that back into when you bring that back into Canadian dollars, it's better, or you can use more Canadian dollars to build whatever you want. Build a hotel. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so I mean that's you have a hotel and you do that 99 years. I mean, the hotel we are going to be opening opens up in it should be opening up in May of this year. So hotel openings, that's something that's really, really close to my heart as well. Hola Laura, ¿qué tal? Hey Laura, very cool. So I have some people from Spain, from Canada, awesome. And I'm in the US today, so that's always fun. So Cheryl, yes, I would say if you're looking to build a hotel and you're doing that in Mexico, I guess there's a number of different things. I've got a whole bunch of questions because we're in the process of building a hotel, and the hotel will be done. It's an 82-room hotel just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So this is a little bit different because that's more of a business hotel. But it sounds like, depending on where you are, Cheryl, where you're going to be building that hotel, it could be more leisure, is my thought, unless you're going to be somewhere like Guadalajara or Mexico City, where it's probably more business related. But if you're going to be somewhere on the coast, like Los Cabos on the peninsula, or you're going to be somewhere like Puerto Vallarta on the coast as well, that may be more like leisure type of travel. So, but the same thing, it's got to be in line with one another, and meaning that you're getting to your goal, you're in the right location, you have the team in place. And so whether or not you're building a hotel, or you're going to be investing in a 200-unit apartment building or a 50-unit apartment building or one house because you want to do it for short-term rental, like all those things need to be in line. So, cool. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So leisure for you, Cheryl. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So listen, anybody that's interested, as I mentioned before, one of the things that I like to talk about is what we are doing. And it's great. I mean, because like Cheryl, you're here and you're living in Canada and you want to invest in Mexico. Laura, I know when you were living in Barcelona, you were investing outside of Barcelona. Now you're living in the south of Spain and your investments are in a completely other part of Spain. I'm from the U.S. I love living in Spain, and I'm investing in multifamily real estate now in the U.S., in New Jersey, in North Carolina, as well as Ohio, and looking to go into another state very soon. And once we close the deal, I can tell you all about where that is, but it's like 260-unit apartment building, so we're really excited about that. But if you want to know more about how I'm doing this, I wrote an ebook. It's really fast read. It's really easy. All you need to do is go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap, and you can pick up your free copy. Just put in your email and yeah, we'll ship it right out to you. And if anybody wants to go a little bit deeper, find out how I'm actually doing this, there's a course that's related to that. So I don't want you to be shocked. So let's see. Laura, you have a question. When it comes to real estate, to get a passive income from rent, when would you recommend to create a company? I mean, from which number of houses would you recommend to go for a company or stay as individual? So of course, let me just say this. I'm not an attorney. I am not anyone who is giving advice, but I can share with you or just tell you that when I decided to buy my properties initially, I did them in my own name, right? The thing is, I had a really lot of coverage in the insurance policy that I had, in the type of insurance that I had, because I didn't have enough assets that if something were to happen, heaven forbid, that it would have been a legal issue. But the thing is the more assets that you have in your portfolio, then it will probably start to make sense that you have things in a company name versus your individual name. Some of the things in Spain, for instance, are a bit different, Laura. So whether or not you are una autónoma, or you have a sociedad limitada or sociedad anónima, it will depend. And so I think that it's either a sole proprietorship, an LLC, or a corporation. if you're thinking about that from a U.S. perspective. Cheryl, you would be able to help us out from the Canadian perspective. You could put that in. I don't know what the appropriate terms are for Canada. But Laura, I would say when it makes sense for you, because you have enough assets that if something, heaven forbid, were to happen to someone, that they could go, go after you personally, then it probably would make sense for you to start to look at having the right type of company structure, right? At least that's what I did. So, yeah. So anyway, Laura, was that helpful? Did that make sense for you? Because I don't really think it's about the number of doors. It's really when are you going to be exposed and have risk, and making sure that you have the right, the right legal structures in place. But initially I did that more with the type of insurance that I had. And so I bought a lot of insurance. I had a really big policy to cover me. And so it would have been okay, heaven forbid, but knock on wood. So anyway, so listen, so I'm going to start doing this a lot more, because this is, ladies, can you let me know? I know, Cheryl, you kind of gave the hands up earlier, and I know the two of you are still here. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you think this is useful? Would this be something that, if I were to do this more frequently, you would show up if I gave you enough notice? Because I do enjoy sharing this experience, if nothing else. And if that can help you in your decision making and doing things, then I would consider doing this more frequently. So let me know if you can give me a thumbs up if you find this valuable, if this would be something worthwhile if I did this on a much more frequent basis or a more regular basis. Because I'm going to get ready and... Okay. Cool. Thanks, Laura. I am... by the way, Laura, un abrazo a Eduard. Y a ti también. So, I just activated the option to get info when you're online from now. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Laura, thank you so much. So for anyone who is not doing that, there are 3 dots on your phone. And if you push those 3 dots, it will tell you when I am going live. Cool. Thanks, Cheryl. So I will do this more frequently. And put those 3 dots on and turn the notifications on. That way you will know when I'm going live. I do plan to be going live a lot more. And based on the feedback that you're giving me right now, I will start doing this more frequently, because I do want to be able to help you get unstuck. I want to be able to help you get closer to your goals. And I would like for you to do that sooner rather than later. And so I'm going to get ready and go see my little sister. But once again, for anyone who wants to understand, like Cheryl was asking some really good questions earlier, and a lot of it had to do with just getting the right elements in line and being able to get closer to your goals. And a lot of times people think about buying the right deal. I like to think of them as the right opportunity. That probably comes from my corporate training. But I've put together a free ebook for you. You can pick that up at keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Just go there, pick it up. It will help you to understand how you get your everything in line that you need to do, and you can live wherever you want. Literally, like I am living proof. Like you can literally live where you want. Like people say live where you want and invest where it makes sense. Like that's what I'm doing, because I live in Europe and Spain because that's where I want to live, and I invest in the United States because that is absolutely where it makes sense for me as a cash flow investor, and doing that in multifamily. And so I'm sharing with you now the things that I've learned. I did it completely the opposite way around before. I learned a lot, took a lot of bumps and bruises, and I want you to not have to do that. So go ahead and pick that up for yourself. And if you want to take a deeper dive, there is a paid course on the end of that. Like, I don't want it to be a shock, like I'm trying to switch and bait. No, I'm telling you, if you want it, go pick up the ebook. You can keep it for yours for free. You'll see a little video of me afterwards telling you about the course. You can pick it up if you want. if it makes sense for you, it's a much deeper dive. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not even going to go into it now. You can see it on the video. But go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Everybody, I'm going to see my little sister. Thank you so much for being here. It's really appreciated. And yes, I will be doing this more frequently. So watch out for another notification. I think I'm going to do this every single day that I'm here in the United States, which is through a couple more days. So anyway, everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. This is BK, and I'll talk to you soon. Hasta la próxima.